This episode of the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast is brought to you by the Podcast Reach System. Are you ready to exponentially reach more profitable customers? Launching and hosting your own show is your proven best solution for networking, client attraction, and establishing your celebrity expert brand. Visit www.podcastreachsystem.com and claim your rightful place as the leading star of your industry so you make a difference for your community, market, and audience. Welcome to the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast. Join us as we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who reveal what they are doing to make the world a better place by being part of it. Be sure to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, lean in, tune in, get your notepad and 2 pens ready, and let's get started.
My name is Adam Homey. I'm your host, and I am once again honored by your wise decision to tune in and invest in yourself today. The Brilliance Plus Passion Project is about spotlighting entrepreneurs and change makers like you who make the world a better place by being part of it and by their contributions to it. In this segment, we're speaking with somebody who I've actually known for a while, and it's one of those things where we've been trying to have her on this for some time, and schedule alignment, which is one of these things about the asynchronous global economy, is that we're able to work with people in different time zones, different cultures, different work modes, and actually make it function just with the small matter of getting 2 people in the same place at the same time. But we've finally done it, and I want to introduce you all to Noémi Beres, and she is the creator of a company called Connections. She's the podcast booking agency owner, artist, and content creator who helps entrepreneurs and business owners enrich their lives through connections, sharing their knowledge, and connecting them with quality podcast shows. In addition, she's dedicated to helping experts grow their businesses with interviews. She has quite a story. You can see the rest of it on our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com. But for now, let's welcome Noémi. Come on in, the weather's fine.
Thank you so much, Adam, for having me on your show. Thank you.
Okay, so I peeked open the curtain a little bit, but I want to ask you to tell us in your own words and fill in the blanks that I may have left open. How does the work you do make the world a better place for your clients, customers, and the world at large?
Basically, I enrich people's life through connections, and I connect people worldwide. You know, I live in a small Mediterranean country, and it's funny because I work with people abroad, like mainly in the US, Canada.
All right. So you're actually based in Europe, but most of your clientele is over here in the Western Hemisphere?
Absolutely. That's correct.
Yeah, you know, we have someone who works with us who lives in South America, and her clientele is entirely in North America. I live in Las Vegas, and I only have one local Vegas client, and I'll just tell you candidly, it's a buddy of mine. So, it's interesting how so many of us end up being able to serve communities, markets, and audiences far beyond what we used to be able to do even 10, 15 years ago.
So true. Yeah, we're just getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah. So in your own words, what is it that you actually do? I get that you have a podcast booking agency, but tell us a bit more about that.
Of course, yeah. So basically, it's a PR agency, but solely focusing on podcast interviews. So we provide a done-for-you service for our clients, and we help them to get on quality podcast shows like yours, Adam. And we help them to share their knowledge worldwide. Yeah, in a nutshell. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So what are a few of the most commonly asked questions, like the FAQs that people have when they are asking you about what it is you do?
How do you find podcasts? Yeah, that's always a big one. Then, which podcasts are the best for me? And how long have you been in the business? That's always
yeah. What are a few questions you wish people would ask?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. Is like, why do you want to work with me? I would love to hear that. And why did you come? Why did you become a podcast agent? That's always, it's a good starting point. And you know, is it hard to find the right podcast for your clients, or do you find it hard? And yeah, I think those are even better questions.
Especially that third one. I ran a pilot program about 4 years ago. I made a foray into the podcast booking realm. We did a pilot program with 5 clients in it. We completed them all successfully. But I will tell you, with a couple of them, the challenge was they had a very specific type of podcast they wanted to be on. And that very specific type of podcast specifically did not want people like my client.
That happens. Yeah, oftentimes.
And this wasn't just an isolated case; it was a trend.
Yeah,
it was nobody's fault or anything like that. It's just that there was a mismatch of expectations.
Yeah, it happens, and you know, many people want to be in Tony Robbins or Amy Porterfield all the time, but well,
yeah.
I mean, not everyone will get invited there. So
right. I feel I should be on both Ben Shapiro's podcast, and if the Young Turks have one, I should be on theirs too. I should be on both sides. I feel I'd be a good contributor, so I should be on both.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a big gap between me feeling that and me getting on those shows. but I'm just saying we all feel that we have things to contribute. It's a matter of And here's one real quick question I want to have before we get to the fun part of our conversation is I say a lot in my work is most of what I do is on the podcast launching and hosting side.
Right.
But that being said, one of the reasons we share that entrepreneurs should have their own podcasts is it puts them in a position to get bookings they may otherwise never touch through the spirit of reciprocity. Meaning, and I can cite examples for myself of podcasts that I've been on, some of which are a little off topic for my primary business and brand, but things I really wanted to explore and have a great conversation with, I could share with others. I would never have even been considered for those shows if I had done it either through an agent or using a pitch in a one sheet. And the reason being is they take a look at that and they say, oh, well, our podcast is about men's health and he does podcast launching. Yeah, he's not a fit. Now, never mind, I have a lot to say about men's issues.
Yeah, I mean,
but however, I could get these bookings because I interviewed them first.
Yeah, that can be a problem, but
yeah,
you never say never. I mean,
right. So I guess to phrase my question to you is, what do we need to consider in terms of? I mean, I shared mine, which is host your own podcast, as a way of opening the conversation. But what else should people at least be considering when they work with a firm like yours in terms of how to reach some of the podcasts that may not be available to just anybody on the transom by thinking a little bit beyond the one sheet?
You have to be unique and you have to do your research. You have to listen to those episodes, at least like maybe 2-3 episodes from that show that you want to target. And it's a bigger podcast. So when you reach out to the host, your approach has to be unique and you have to tell a couple of examples. What did you like about the show? Why did you like the show? And don't forget to leave a review on iTunes, maybe, because that's always a good point because hosts love reviews and rates. So if you mention that in your email, in your pitch, when you tell them, it's like, see, I love this episode, why I liked it. And by the way, I left a review for you. So, that will melt people's hearts. I mean, most of the time, I would say 80% of the time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So let's shift gears here. And I'm going to ask you a few questions that will help our listeners get to know Noémi better. So first, what would people who know you be surprised to learn about you?
I always cry when I listen to classical music, when it's very close to my heart. I can be very emotional when I listen to Bach or Beethoven. And that was the case since I was a kid. So probably they don't know that about me, but I do.
Oh, that is interesting. I will disclose that every time I see the ending to the movie Scarface and Tony falls off the balcony into the waterfall, I think, what a sad ending to an American dream. And I really tear up over that. And they actually made a commercial about that. I can't remember if it was TNT or one of the FX channels or something like that. They were doing a whole series on crime movies, and they show on crime type movies, and they were showing vignettes of men crying over scenes from The Godfather and Goodfellas and things like that, because those are the things that really get us worked up. It's like, damn it, why did I cut those onions just now? So for you, it's classical music.
Yeah, it was always since I was a kid. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if there's a correlation between an event or a trigger there that brings out classical music specifically.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or just one of those things.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what do you hope people say about you when you're not around to hear it?
I hope they say that, you know, she's a woman true to her words and reliable and kind. I hope so.
Great.
Although I'm a Scorpio, so people sometimes see me as a bit cold or closed off, but deeply I'm not like that. So
yeah. Right. If you could go back in time and change one thing you've experienced, one thing you've done, or one thing that's happened, what would it be and why?
My dad passed away in 2019 because of cancer, and I wish I could have spent more time with him before he died, but I lived in Cyprus and he lived in Hungary, and yeah, we didn't spend much time together in the very last year of his life, and I wish I could have done that.
Right. What famous person, alive or dead, would you like to meet? And if you had the opportunity, what question would you have for them?
That was easy for me because I'm also an artist and I love other artists. And I love Frida Kahlo. I mean, she's a famous Mexican artist and a self-taught artist. And I would love to meet her because I love her paintings and everything. And I would love to ask her, like, what advice would you give to emerging artists who are striving to find their unique voice in this world? What advice could Frida Kahlo give to us? How could we? Right.
I have some familiarity with her story, so I can see how that would be a particularly valid question. One of the themes of her life journey was finding her place in not only the world of art, but also in society in general. She was one of those cycle breakers that we hear about before we even really knew what that term meant.
Absolutely. She was.
Yeah. What motivates and inspires Noémi to keep going when she's having a tough time or facing a challenge?
My family and my mom. She was always my rock, you know, in my life. So absolutely. And yeah.
All right. Now, finally, I know you have an invitation you want us to share, and I'm going to do that for you. So leave that part to me. So I'm asking, in general, we're about a minute from being done here. What is one thing you would urge our listeners to do, or an action for them to take, something for them to consider as they finish listening to us today?
Find two people, like from friends, family members, whoever, and compliment them, because we don't compliment each other enough. I mean, complimenting each other will create like a positive and loving culture of appreciation we all need in life, but we don't do it very often. So try two people, compliment them online, offline, you know, go to them, tell them why you like them, what do you like about them.
Yeah. All right. So you do have an invitation for our audience, and I will share that now. Visit Noémi's website. It's www.podcastconnections.co or co. www.podcastconnections.co. Now, I can only say the following is that I have another podcast, the Business Creators Radio Show, that Noémi's firm has referred several prospective guests to, and a couple of the ones that we've interviewed particularly recently have been really, really good. I think that she has a really great connection, particularly if you're in the entrepreneurial space. There's both a breadth and depth of available clients that they have, and If you are a podcast host looking for an additional stream of applications to come in to consider to reduce your need to hunt, or you're somebody who is looking to get more bookings, I would suggest you check out www.podcastconnections.co and see how Noémi's firm works. And with that, Noémi Beres, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been an honor, and believe me, an education.
Thank you so much for having me today, Adam. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning into the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast, where we celebrate entrepreneurs, business creators, and brilliant minds who are making a difference for their community, market, and audience. Remember to visit our website at www.brilliancepluspassion.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Brilliance Plus Passion podcast.